that was a little bit orcs. I was streaming on the Sherlock Holmes thing, which cool and all, but no. Okay, unlit. Right, so I know this area works, that's cool. There is an area in here that I would like to fix. And it's this kind of edge here. I'm just wondering if I can stick some boxes or something in. Don't get distracted, I can come back and fix that later. Okay, let's go up here. Yank. So this is the exit over here. Oh. As we can see, it gives us not a whole lot of space. That's okay though. And then we're out here. Okay, let's go to my island. Now, my little island in the sun. I remember having to sing that at school. Don't know if you do or not. Well, you probably didn't go to an English school like I did. Okay, I should probably do some recording as well. Just going to affect the I/O, but there we go. So, I'm going to do a quick hello while I do this, just in case you're wondering if I've gone mad. Hi there, how you doing? This is Chris over at 3D Palace. I am the developer of the Wickie, and I am doing some blocking out today. Now, I have got many windows open, but the main one I'm focusing on today is this one here, which is my essential screen. Okay, so that's the one you're going to be seeing. If you're just wondering what I've got visible elsewhere, I have got 3 content browsers, an outliner, detail panel, and my world partition map and my message log. They're all sitting in other places that you can't see at the minute. Reason for that is because I don't want you to be overloaded with information. This is more of a visual thing. I'll be explaining what I'm doing as I go along. So one of the first things I need to do, I am unloading a section that I'm not using at the minute, and instead I'm going to load in a large area. So load region from selection inside of my world partition. You can't see me doing that, but you can probably see this little box that's appeared in the top right hand corner. That's just my loading actors bubble. So this will take a minute. Once it's done, I'll have a much better idea of what goes where, when, what and how. Because I need to find a space for a large mysterious area. That is my stock in trade at the moment, large mysterious areas. And we're going to kind of go over how I block in large mysterious areas and basically how I build. Okay, so here we go. We can see now that my big rocks are in place. Fab. Okay, so there's my big rocks, and there is, let's come up here. Now I was going to get rid of this. You see this kind of overlapping kind of weirdness here, but I discovered that I actually quite liked it. So there we go. I'm just going to keep it for the time being. Now another thing I'm going to do is probably turn the weather off, because the weather is using far too much stuff that I don't want at the moment. So I'll change it from foggy to maybe cloudy. And I can change it to lit. There we go, a little bit better. I might actually change it from cloudy to clear skies. There, even better. Okay, so it just lets me see. Later on I can change it back to whatever I may desire. But for the minute, that's what it is. Okay, again, if you're watching this and you're planning on playing the game, I wouldn't. Now, what I need to do is I need to find some mine workings that I've got that are hidden somewhere. Now, I know where they are. They're over here. See that? So what I need to do is I need to connect that just there and this over here. Now, the issue I have is that this area here is, well, we can see here, I don't exactly have a big area to connect to it if I come out of this door here. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to use this door, this part here, for something else. And over here, where this is, I really need to expand this out. So what I can do is I can jump into my landscape tools, I think. And let's have a look at some of these shapes. So I can get rid of probably that. Let's have a look and see how I do without it. That gives me that massive broad area there connecting into the water. That's kind of okay. Or, just undo it again. Remember, this is all about the blockout. There we go. I'll do another save. Another thing we can do is probably take this one away up here. So I think this one's probably going to be better. So have a look and see if it goes all the way in. And it does. And you see how it's overlapping there as well. So this could be ideal. So what I'm going to do is just bring that forward. Be very careful with this because there's other stuff that it's affecting, and thankfully I didn't actually do much up there, so what I need to do is just make an area down here. Just speed up my camera. There we go. Okay, so that's good. That now gives me this area here. See that? Now I just need to find the hole, which is here. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to go into my landscape mode. Hello, caller. And in landscape mode, I'm going to make a visibility check. Let's click there. And you see how I'm now able to see my lovely hole just there. Okay, so another thing I'm going to do is come up here and make sure it hasn't screwed anything up royally that I don't want it to. It hasn't. All it has done is exposed this bit here. Brilliant. Okay. Now, with this bit here, I also don't want these, so I'm just going to carve it away slowly. Now, if you look, that's really balked up that bit there because this bit isn't really designed for that. But I have got a hole in this, and that's kind of what I need. Now then, I can see how wide this is supposed to be, so what I need to do next is I need to get rid of all of this roughage. I've got paint mode, and ground 9 will probably do for this. I'm just going to draw across it like that. Okay, so that's going to get rid of anything inside of this area here. Gone. Gone. Good. Save it. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to drop out of landscape mode. Because what I have to do now is I have to define carefully the exact widths of the things I'm working on. And that will be done using this. Pardon me again. I'm not even sure if I have my microphone on. Oh, I do. How wonderful. Okay. So, come out of landscape mode. Now, this is one of the things that's really difficult for you as a game dev, is eventually, you don't run out of space. We never do. But what you'll run out of is room to kind of move around and do stuff. And that can get very frustrating. So, all I want to do is I want to create basically a passage from here down here, and I'm going to use this lovely big broad left space. Now it's important that I don't have anything in this space, so I'm just going to quickly load it just to make sure. Give it a minute. Because if I've got a load of rocks in here, then obviously that's going to make things a lot more difficult for me. And I've only got rocks in places that I absolutely need them at the minute. Right, there we go. You see, that's useful because now I know that I've got this enormous thing just here. And this is just for my own reference. Right, so this is garbage anyway. Okay, this piece here, so that's fine. I built that, and I have some regrets about it, so I don't really want to keep it there. Okay, so I'll just start chipping away at this as well. Never, ever, ever be afraid to delete stuff if you decided that you don't like it. Okay, and this is a piece that I built, and I was planning on revisiting, so I'm just going to get rid of it. You See, sometimes you have ideas and you're like, yeah, that's exactly it, and you're like really pleased with the idea, and then you'll come back to it and you're like, I don't know. If you're not sure, just let it brew for a while, okay? And once it's brewed for a while, you'll know. Now what I can do, which is helpful actually, is I can really just get rid of part of this and then decide if I want to just keep the other bit as well. Because solo game dev, the boundaries move quickly, okay, very quickly. So you may find that you're doing something and then it's like, oh, I don't know, is that really what I want? And if the answer's, well, it looks a bit babyish, then, you know, the answer's no. Here we go. And that's what happened with this. I didn't like it. I don't have to like it either. Right, now this bit here is BP Spear 16, so I'm going to get rid of all of those. I'm going to get rid of that as well. Definitely getting rid of this because this just makes no fucking sense. So like, this isn't blocking out, this is deleting. Yeah, this is called knocking down. You ever been into a city, a modern city, and it's like, oh, they're knocking things down. They do that so they can build new things. That's literally the reasoning behind it. Okay, just in case you're a bit confused by that. Just put this bit in. There. So this is going to give me the opportunity to get rid of a lot of wasteful stuff that I don't need. There's far too much kind of order to this, and I don't like it. Very much an experimental area. But I'll keep the actual room itself because I like the room, and I may yet decide to do something with it. So, just being very selective on how I delete things. Right, there we go. Down there. Let's have a look at the lit. Again, it seems a bit of a waste. It's at the time I thought that was okay, but I think I'm going to just get rid of some bits here. I'll keep the shape of the room though, because the room shape's okay, but I'm going to get rid of all the props in it. And that includes all the funny coloured lights. There's a lot of details in here that I don't think people would see. None of this is essential, so instead I'll do the job properly in a minute. Meanwhile, however, there, that's better. Cleans the room out, makes it a bit easier for me, and I'll get rid of this as well. So there we go, you see, this is the equivalent of the bulldozers moving in your local city and clearing away the stuff, and, you know, all your happy memories of childhood being swept away. Pardon me. Now, next thing I'm going to do, just have a good look around here. I've got rid of the things that pretty much don't fit in my opinion, of which there are many. I'll leave that. You can always block it out later. So yeah, I want to be careful because I'll find these SM crate things here, and I don't want them. There you go. Right. So that leads us through into here. Hello. And that in turn, oh hello, leads us over here. And let's save. Right, so the part we're leaving from is down here. Hello. Let's just find that little doorway thing. There it is. What I need to do now is create a new level that is just going to contain this information here. So, what am I using as my floors? I'll probably start with these. So, let's go to my caves. And I have... here we are. So I'm going to be using this here. Just spin it around. Good thing about these is that they make a good size and I can do the blocking out with them. Okay, so that's Y. Chunk, there we go. Bring that up to that. And just align them. So there we go. Now as we can see, this bit here kind of comes out and just connects onto this bit of grass here. And we have this bit here that's going back into the cave, right? So what I could do with is just some sort of delineation between the two here and here. So I think what I'm going to do is just check this and this and this and this. I need to build a piece that's going to go around there. So I can do that with probably the floor just here. And I'm going to copy its rotation. Paste. There we go. And then this will give us a lot more control over what we're doing. Now what we want is no ability for the player to jump into this. So if they find it, we don't want them to be able to go, oh, and like start exploring our cave straight away. That's not what I want. So just need to be a little bit aware situationally. There we go. So I'm just messing around with widths and heights and all that kind of good stuff. But making sure at the same time that nothing is damaging our main levels over here. Okay, that's the first block in place. Now, making sure that I've got a rotate snap on. I don't want this gap underneath because that looks amateur and silly. Let's just control that. There we go. Now soon I'll be able to move into the realm of actually making what do you call it again? Flipping heck. Ooh, actually I'm going to move this as well. Yeah, that's nice. That's my navigation, by the way, rebuilding itself, just if you're wondering why it's doing that. Right, so what I need to do now is start building the part where we're going into the rest of the area here. So, dog, whatever you're doing, please, you know, cease. Okay, so we have an area here going all the way up here, and we've got this area here behind. Now these are going to look like dog shit if we don't do anything about them, so that's important. And I also need this, so Alt drag. I want to build some sort of a main causeway this way here, you see. So there we go. That works for me. Hello, Desmond, by the way, how are you? I don't know who else is. Oh, good God, loads of them. Desmond has, and someone else has, and yeah, all Jonathan Napier, Scott Sage, Vinicius, Fahad, Wan Zin, and Wolfbite Gaming. So hello to all of you, I hope you're doing well. Sorry if I didn't say hello, it's just very hard for me to see when someone does that. So. Okay, let's fill this gap. That's important. Gaps look horrible. No, that looks fine. Okay. Next, I need this part. 90-degree angle. And let's just attach it about here. And this bit's important because I want to get the alignment right, you see, just against this side here. I don't want to be looking through it and seeing like the rest of my world, because that's not cool. Right, okay, and probably some steps. Right, here we are. Now, when the stairs sink in the bottom like that, give it some thought, okay, because that is really, really visible when you do that. So, just, I know because mine looks really, really visible. Okay, that's fine. Now, as you can see, we have this wall here. Now then, each of these parts is, you work it out, 692 across. So if I put on some snapping, I should be able to pretty much snap it to there. Make sure there's no gaps in between. No, that's fine. And over here on the left, look at that. See, it's been absorbed into that side a bit. So can I do anything about that? Yes, is the answer, so that's good news. This is going to be fully enclosed in here as well. So. Okay, we've got this nice big space going on over here, which I approve of mightily. Okay, so we just need to continue doing this until we actually have the finishing spot, and then once the finishing spot is done, I can combine this into my area. Now don't worry if you don't know what I mean here, but what I'm doing is I'm going to basically drag this out, okay, and then once I have everything in the correct place for what I need, I'm going to turn this into a sub-level, basically, which I can load and unload whenever I need to. That's going to save me A, a lot of resources, and B, it's going to mean that I can just work directly inside of the level and get a much better idea of how it's going to look and work. And at the same time, that's going to save me kind of so many resources, it's ridiculous. So another thing I'll do as well is I'll turn it into an instance level when I'm done. If it's instanced, it's going to use way, way, way less resources, and that is even more awesome. Now, for anyone wondering why I'm not using the PCG framework, or PCR, whatever it is, the procedural game framework anyway. The reason I'm not using it at the minute is because it would require me to move Unreal Engine 5.2 into being my main branch, and I'm not ready for that yet. Okay, so just in case you were wondering, that's why. Now then, let's put in some basic parts here. I can get rid of these later. For the moment, I need to know how big things are. So, see, there it is, just there. I need to know how big it's going to be when it intersects things. Now this is pretty cool because I can go really far down. See that? And then I can go really far up. Why is that important? Well, it means that I can build cool things, basically. Okay, so I just need to be able to make sure that it's not going to intrude on anything else. And this kind of scale is going to look great. Okay, there's one there and one there. Can I make two? I think I can, which is a help. There, perfect. Okay, so now I've got everything I need. So let's block it in. I know where the end is. I know what these are. So now I'm going to come in here and get all the bits I need that make up this scene, this part. There are a few. Okay, there we go. Right, so with that done, level, create level instance. And I'm going to put this in my packed instance levels. So, instance levels first. Instanced, I'm going to call this instanced mysterious, instanced caves, instanced passageways. Naming makes it a lot easier to know what the frick they are. Okay, so these are done now, and this is a big mesh. So right click, and I can go level, edit. Now I'm just working on this. Brilliant. Okay, now I may not want to just work here like that, so commit. Instead, I'm going to get levels. So that's under maps. Instance level, instance passageways and Foreman's office. Save selected. And now this will load. It'll be black, by the way, very dark. There you go. Okay, so we can see exactly now what's where and how. So we know this is the entrance. And we know this is the main floor areas. Fab. Okay, so what we need is a do-away over here. And just bring that down, just ensure it's the right size. Scale this until it kind of fits the way I want it to. Remember, this is all about blocking out, just getting it the way you want it, yeah? Or the person who's requiring you to build it wants it. Either way will do. Now, again, remember there's no lights in here, so if we test it, we're going to have some sort of lighting in here. It's not essential at the minute, but I'm just letting you know. Right. Cool. Okay, so walls, like ice cream. So we can see now that these parts aren't quite reaching where they're supposed to. I can make them. And this makes a much more claustrophobic tunnel, which is what I'm after. We'll get this right on the edge, just about there. If you help me, what matters that you seek. Right, we don't want to start pulling out our high detailed noob assets just yet. What we want to do is get a transition towards using them. So I can use these pieces here like this. And I think I can probably use SM ceiling. There we go. Nice. Just want to get this kind of positioned nicely over the top. There, that will do it. So these things are all fitting. I don't need to worry about the edges being over or anything like that. The important part for me is just being able to see full stop. There we are. But now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these all over here and make my passageway. You can see that I've got a much more reactive Unreal Engine now, because obviously I'm working on a much smaller level than I was, which is a big help. So all I'm doing is just using a Shift, Control and Drag, or is it Shift, Alt and Drag, sorry, Shift, Alt and Drag, just until I get it all the way to where I want it. And then I'll have a check on the inside. Okay, and yeah, that's cool. So what I can do now is get the actual doorway here, which is huge. I'm just going to scale that all in, just until it looks a bit like that, and just drag it down. There we go. So now that breaks this area up. So this is a nice big long straight, relatively drab, boring area. Perfect, just how I wanted it. Now these outside parts here. Okay, so remember, this is ruins and shit, so we need to really get across the fact that this is ruins and stuff. So I'm going to thin this down a bit. If you're working by eye, like I like to do, then do be aware of your scales and so on, okay? Because it's very, very easy to accidentally make something non-scale and not be sure how to fix it. By that I mean something that doesn't really match up with the parts around it in scale. It doesn't really matter too much if you don't like, you know, what I'm doing, which is Lovecraftian things, because non-Euclidean geometry and scale doesn't really go together hand in hand anyway, but, you know, I'm just trying to make your job easy. Okay, so let's save that. If you want to see how it fits inside of its area soon, now let's go over here. As you see, we have these areas that are quite large. Now, how large is the question? So I'm going to put a direct light on this for the minute. Save that. I can get rid of it in a minute. So I just want to get an idea of scale. Actually, I'll not use this one. What I'll do is I'll just use the light mixer. There we go, that should do it. Nice. I don't know what's happened here, but there you go. That's a thing. Well, I'll settle for it. Right, so right click, let's see how big these are. Quite large. Okay, let's see how big this tunnel is. Where's my walls gone? And the ceiling. Curious. Oh, my walls are definitely here at the minute. Interesting. Let's find my light. That is that. Get rid of that. Tools, build, blah, 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 blah. Tools, tools, tools. This is the only thing that kind of really greatly annoys the living heck out of me, is that you will occasionally get parts that have just decided to unload, because that's what they do. So we have to load them back in again. Okay, this seems like a goodly size to me. So, next. We're going to make something insane. Okay. Why? Because we're going to make something insane. That's all you need to know. So, these are big ass meshes. This mesh itself is huge, but that's good. Huge is what I want. It's all about the scale, my dears. All about the scale. Okay, that looks good. It's 9.5, I'm going to say. Would be a good scale on that. And just want to make sure that it's not clipping the edge here, because I'm going to need the edges soon. Beautiful. Okay, that will do me. There's one. And then turn this around. And let's see, use that. Let's have a look. I need a light on this, otherwise it's not going to look anything good. Okay, get that. Better, better. Okay, that's fine. Next, inserting my will partition actor. I've got like this is all world partitioned, just in case you're wondering. Okay, because it needs to be. So when it loads up in my other level, it will also be world partitioned, etc., etc., etc. Right, now let's have a look at this. So I'm going to change this one, because these need to be just absurd, basically. And let's see, a nice design for this one. Never can tell when people are coming to look, you see. There we are. And then this is going to come across here. Move that down. Just check it. The gaps, holes, things that should not be there. Beautiful. This is a real detail piece, this one as well, which I really like. Okay, just look at the spaces between, make sure there aren't any. That looks good. And I'm going to just rotate this. Again, I want to get edge to edge. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so we've got this part here is working. We can have a little balcony here, a little something here anyway. Something that's not going to make any sense, but that's kind of the idea. I do like these designs, they work really well for what I want. And it's all about, basically I'm trying to create this imposing edifice, yeah? I want to create something that kind of looks weird and something that definitely does not belong. Okay, we're going to take these parts here. Make it so that these are parts of this. Otherwise we have no way of blending the two together. Now, when I was a 3D Studio Max artist by trade, I came up with a kind of a theorem which I called ergonomic modeling, okay, which is basically how shapes interact together, and it was taken from the idea that was used by Lucas and so many other kind of pioneers in the days of early sci-fi and stuff like that, which is where artists basically get their shapes working together, and so by doing so they stop these kind of weird shapes that don't make sense. It's kind of hard to explain unless you're doing it, but what I mean by that is, if we look at these shapes here ergonomically, some things go and some things don't, and we're not even talking in a Lovecraftian sense, right? So I'm not saying like, you know, this goes and all this kind of thing. What I mean is the shapes work, and visually you can see them working. You're like, yeah, that's what I had in mind. So that's what we kind of got to go towards. So shapes that work together, that's important. Now, it's very hard to kind of put that into words, what I mean, but hopefully you might get an idea. But basically what we've got to do is we've got to use various parts together to to give us the impression that this was built by one kind of cohesive race. Okay, one race that was like building stuff for purpose, as it were. And we want to be able to close off areas and put walls in and stuff that are going to not detract from that. So, for example, this bit here, what I want to do is literally just take these large tiles I've been using for walls and stuff, and because they've been used so many times, the player's going to be used to them, which is a help. And then I can just use them to kind of shut off areas like this. That way things make sense, which otherwise they will not, because you'll be getting, what's that for? Now that area that I built before that was deleting at the very beginning is a good example of that, okay, because that one was definitely not the right shape. So move that out as well. See, the way that works. Got a couple of spaces here. I just want to make sure there's no big horrible holes in them. Okay, so what we have now is this nice space here. So let's take this and this now. Okay, so this and this is going to become basically kind of a walkway across the middle of this. Now, I don't want the player to go down here, so I'm going to make a point of having them killed if they even try, because I'm not very kindly. So, also I don't want to go into play mode because suddenly everything will vanish, and that's not ideal for what I want. Actually, hold a sec, I can just... unpin that and unpin that. There, that's a bit better. Right, so these walls now are like sloped off somewhere. Okay, now I'm going to stick in a temporary light mix. Again, this should only be considered temporary, just so that I can get an idea of scale. So these are huge, cyclopean, great big things. And then as I come in here, I can kind of see it, but not quite, so that's ideal. That's ideal, alright. And in fact, what I'll do is get rid of them four and that. I'll just put UDS in. There we go. Make it a bit easier for me to see that. Play from here. And now I can get a better idea of the scale. The lighting's blown out, but that's fine. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Now I'm going to have something going up and down there. But this is all going to need to be ruined next. So. Right. So I'm going to load everything. I'm just going to make unload it. There we go. And I should have another load of unloaded somewhere hiding. Bloody don't. Where are they? Where's my walls? Now what I need to do is work on my other stuff. So I'm going to build a part from there into there. Can I walk down here? I can. I'm going to have to build something down here to represent what this thing is, which is a big fecking crystal. So Okay, let's build ourselves an area coming off this. I don't want to use walls for this. What do I want to use instead? Definitely don't want to use that. Front plate here. That'll do. These kind of things are ideal. I'll just turn this around. There, okay, I can just apply a little bit of difference to it. I'm trying to get a sense of cyclopean scale that the player just can't comprehend. That's the whole point of this. So, I think to myself, is my player comfortable? I hope not. Well, you know what I mean. Let's make sure there's no overlap here, because I don't want any. Okay, that's fine. Next, we're going to fence the player in. That's important. Okay, because we want the player to see but not interact. You may think that's cruel. It isn't. Check the size of this fence. Make it 2. That'll be too big for the player to jump. So it'll look small until the player gets there, and then jumping over it. Yeah, they can't. Brilliant. Okay. Drop the speed down. Again, we're only using very few items, so we don't need to worry too much about anything to do with what do you call it? Scale and so forth. Nice. Okay, these are 120s, so I'll put those to the 240 now. Just do that. I want it to go too far in, it will come out this side, which is bad. There, that will do. Out there. I don't know. I need this. No. There, that one. What we need, basically some way for this to connect. There we are. I like how these don't snap together at all. Sometimes things don't, it's just the way it is. And if you're going to sit and cry about it, well, you know. Just move that to there. Turn my snaps back on. And I want this. And I'm going to replace it with this. see one side of this is way more detailed than the other, so we'll use the detail side, I think. Now we've still got a wee bit of space there, so maybe I can crank this up a little bit. Nice, that gives us this space, but at the same time it's not going to allow us to get through the gap, so I approve. Alright, now get this into roughly the right place. Turn my snap saw off while I do it. Okay, and we can see there is a gap under here. That'll do. This one as well probably has a gap underneath it. This to a 10. And we can start just bolting things together. Nice. And these become our fences. Honestly, what have the marshes been digging up down here? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now then I need this, which comes all the way down here. And I can just reverse it. Like that. Which will allow me to just stick it in place. We can see that's not quite fitting there, so now it is. There we go. Make sure we've not got any weirdness going on over here because we don't want it. And yeah. Better. You say you love me, I say you're better. You better, you better, you bet. There we go. Another one of the Chris's very old music he vaguely remembers from being a child. There. Okay, so now we have this kind of promenading area here. Okay, it's all rough. And I'll be scattering all bits around it and stuff, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Now, let's make it so it's a bit better. We have these fancy parts here. I rather like. So, what kind of scale these stand up to is a question. Okay, let's go in, play from here. I think a very thin ridge could be in order. Mm-hmm. Okay, so next thing I can do then, I need a tentacle, so I also need a crystal. Meshes, crystal. What kind of crystal? Ooh, now that is a nice crystal. It's a good shape, size. Bit smaller. Want it to be able to fit in here. Just slot it in. This is 8, so what have I got? My 8s. I'm not really that fond of that look. That one. That one for sure is a good one. Okay, now I need some fog. I'm just starting off basic here. Come out of here, it doesn't look very bomb. Start to get some out. see the blocking out is coming along nicely. Right, so that's the part where we come in, you see, so it's in, along, over here. Now this is an important area, so let's get some things in here that are going to be cool. So getting the walls again. I could do something coming down from here, particle wise. these will mostly come through this side like that. But here we go. Another one here, and another one here. And put some light inside of these as well. So, if you think to yourself, oh, this takes forever, yeah, it does. That's the way it is. Get used to it. Shut up. You finished yelling at things. Because I do have things I've got to do, little dog. Right, I need to find a suitable crystal. Enough, Pan, please. Enough. I like the idea that it's like a crown as well, actually, so... That kind of works. To move it forward a bit. I want to get as much done as I can because I've got a nagging suspicion My dear friends at Epic are going to want me to do some stuff for them soon. In fact, I know they are, because they've already been in touch. The benefit of being older, you see, is that you get like these cool gigs. But also it means that you don't get to do as much stuff as, you know. Right, put that there, put that there, put that there. Stop it, please. There's a good dog. I'm going to rotate these. These are rather nice little crowns here. Just made out of crystal. And this is crystal 2, so I'll put the flow in. This will give us some nice contrasting light. I'm not going to go to play mode, otherwise I'll not see anything. That's really aggravating. Oh, flip. Okay, so where's my light gone? There it is. There. Look at the loot. I'm going to have to adjust this because this is too bright. Nice wide area incidence. 1,000 should be okay actually. Now I'm going to rotate this. Make sure all of these are movable as well. Otherwise that's going to cause some dynamic issues later. Right, Buns, have you finished shouting at poor Phil, who was busy doing our lovely garden to make it nice for you? Again, just blocking out this shape. Barely enough to reach the other parts of this, which is fine. Cool. Cool. We need some stuff here as well. Hello, darling. I'll just get you a cuppa. Just give me a moment. Right, I'm going to call it for the moment because I'm tired. So, 1 hour 30. That'll do. The rig? No, I haven't yet actually. I'll have a look at that, Nogarth. Thanks for letting me know. Hang on. The rig on Prime. Oh, now that looks really, really good actually. Thanks for letting me know about that, Nogarth. I'll go and have a quick peek at that. Okay, I'm going to go and turn this off for the minute. Talk to you